It's like electro pop in a rainstorm or something. I was enjoying it, but I just kept waiting for the electrocution to occur.
I kept waiting for Jay-Z to just hit a high note or something.
Right.
It's very similar to some Jay-Z beats out there.
Well, thanks for joining us here on Verbal Promiscuity. Sorry you missed the opening segment. It was killer.
And we just found out where Bob Stoops went.
That's right. We said it. We're not repeating it.
No.
We're done with it. But
No.
Let's just say things are different now.
Very different.
Very, very different. It's dark outside. Temperature's a little more doable for a while.
Dark inside as well.
Dark inside. Not in our hearts, though. Our hearts are filled with love for you, our loyal listeners and watchers.
You know what we need? Just like
I need a lot.
Justin Bieber has his little group of whatever the Believers. Excessive Celebration needs whatever you could
Excessive celebrants.
Not as catchy.
It's right there, though. It's somewhere in between the worst thing that anybody's ever said and whatever you said.
We keep listening for the worst thing that anybody's ever said.
That's the new segment. It's right after the opening every week. You can't miss it.
It's right after 0.
For the next 2 hours.
On Friday.
4:30 to 6:30.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
But we are a sports show.
Yeah. Yes. How about that LSU-Alabama game? We had 3 geniuses,
Man.
didn't we?
So I took away the same thing that I took away from the OU game. They got up. They got a little complacent with themselves. Oh, wait a minute. Alabama's still pretty good and came back. Tua, the first half, really looked a little confused.
He did.
And didn't look quite the same. I would attribute a little bit of that to not playing and a little bit of rust. And let's be honest, I've sprained my ankle before. I didn't have the surgery and tried to walk the next day. And there ain't no way I'm running
Did
around.
you see them show the like the computer generated surgery? What that looks like? I'll be out for about a year and a half.
Right.
I was on the beach somewhere going, I'm almost ready to come back to work. Almost. Bring me another pina colada.
Yeah.
Texas seems to win close ones against the Kansas schools. That was an interesting ball game.
Texas is tough to figure out because you see them play up and they could beat anybody in the country when they played LSU, right? Mm-hmm. So that was by far, I would say, Texas's best game that they've played this year, even though they lost. But then you see them come out and struggle against teams that they shouldn't struggle against.
How much of that do you think, though, is based on Texas, frankly, knowing who they've been the past 10 years? In other words, the first little sign of doubt that hits a Texas player, knowing that they've been disappointing and underachieving for over a decade, so that doubt creeps in, versus an Oklahoma that's been able to lose a game and still had the clout to get into the playoff. And to me, the big difference is when Texas trips up, they're most likely to trip up again because that's what they do. That's what they've done.
What do you think? So when OU went through all those rough years, and then you got Bob Stoops, who turned them around. Is it just getting the right player in there to change that mentality to a team that, you know what, we're not going to lose these close games anymore. We're not going to lose. We're just going to go out here and find a way to win.
I think it was a tough deal for Stoops, only because a lot of people think that, Stoops came in, the cupboard was full, he changed the offense a little bit, went and got Josh Heupel because he was going to go to Weber State and got him to come to OU and run Hal Moome's offense with Mike Leach in charge of it. But he had to change a mindset because that wasn't that they weren't very good. They were poorly coached and they hadn't recruited well. I mean, they ran the wishbone at one point. I mean, they did not have what they needed to have to compete at that level. Frankly, what he did with the people that he had the second year is remarkable, but
Yeah.
at least by the second year, they had realized that, and if you think about it at the time, right? His personality, Leach's personality, Mike Stoops' personality, Brent Venables' personality, how quickly do you have to get tough or assume that if you're
Right.
and I think that right there was the biggest thing. Ask Scott Frost if just having a nice logo and a brand means that you can turn it around real quick.